All right, so we're gonna get started with this information session. Thank you everyone for joining. Just to get things introduced, my name is Clara Steck, and I am the program coordinator for the STAMP program. And I am a senior in the Poole College of Management. I'm studying business administration with a concentration in entrepreneurship, and I have minors in environmental science, psychology, and leadership. And I also have been working with the Business Sustainability Collaborative as an associate with them for the last 2 years. And because of that, I've had the opportunity to develop out this program that it's been a passion project of mine to work on, and I'm very excited to share it with you all today. And then I'm going to pass it over to Karavi to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm a third year student here studying environmental sciences and sociology with a minor in political science. I joined the BSc as an associate this year, and I'm supporting Clara on the development of the mentorship program as someone who got to experience its power last semester. So I'll share a little bit more about that later, but super excited to be here with everyone today.
Thank you, Karavi. So to give a brief agenda of what we're going to go into today, we're going to talk about what is STAMP, what is this program, and then we'll go into a timeline of what it looks like for this academic year. This is a one-year program that runs through the 25-26 academic year. We'll go over some commitments and expectations for both mentees and mentors, the benefits of participating. We'll jump into the mentorship toolkit, which is just a resource for you throughout your experience. And then Karavi will touch on her experience from this past year. And then there'll be an opportunity to join the Sustainability Network if you're not already connected with us. And then we'll have a Q&A session. So if you have any questions that come up while I'm sharing this information, feel free to write them down or keep them in mind for when we have a Q&A. Okay, so first of all, what is STAMP? So STAMP is kind of just a short acronym, but it's just to help kind of shorten the long name of the program, which is the Sustainability Alumni-Student Mentorship Program. And ST comes from the sustainability side, and then AMP, obviously, Alumni Mentorship Program. But it's just a short way to kind of format the program. And yeah, the purpose of the program is to foster a semi-structured intentional mentorship experience. So rather than jumping in when you're looking for someone, to look up to in a mentorship role, rather than just jumping in and trying to like navigate that kind of without really knowing too much about the process, or just not really knowing where to start or what to get into, or just not even having enough time to really spend with somebody. We have created this program that helps to create a more intentional experience. But it's a mentee-driven structure, which means that it allows students to really take initiative of what they're looking for in your experience. Whether you're unsure about what you want to do in your career, maybe you are just slightly interested in sustainability work and you want to know what that could look like and what that role could look like. It's really up to the mentee to figure out like what you want to do with this program, providing the structure that we have. And it's open to all academic backgrounds. In fact, we're really hoping to get people from all different colleges and backgrounds involved in this program. Anyone that's interested in sustainability is welcome to join along in this mentorship experience. And yeah, we encourage interdisciplinary learning and collaboration. So not only with your mentors or with mentees, collaborating in that way, but also with each other if you want to connect with one another, and just foster that community of sustainability at NC State. And yeah, how it works is it's a one-on-one mentorship experience with alumni in sustainability careers. And it's a flexible format, like I said, so it's tailored to each of the mentees' goals. So whether you're looking for more insight into a specific industry, or just getting ideas of what career paths you could be exploring, it's a flexible format with structure to it, to allow you to explore that and really be intentional about your own professional development. And we had a spring 2025 pilot program that was launched. I wrote up the proposal for this program in fall of 2024 as part of the student advisory board for the PAC Impact program. If any of you have heard of that, that is our career development program for sustainability, also run through the Business Sustainability Collaborative. And we had a student advisory board we still do, that collaborates and figures out improvements or ideas or just brainstorms ways that the program could be improved, especially as we were developing the pilot. And this was one element that came kind of to fruition from those conversations. And we realized that we needed an opportunity to get students more connected with individuals who are in the field and working in roles around sustainability. So you can really understand what that could look like, and just get a better idea of what you want to do after you graduate NC State. And so now we've been able to transition to a full academic year program, which is really exciting. And we've had a lot of great support from the Sustainability Office and the Business Sustainability Collaborative to get this into a full program. So very excited to launch that this year. And so here is a timeline that you can view for kind of what the program would look like for the academic year. So interest forms for mentees and mentors are due on October 19th at 11:59 p.m. Feel free to submit those whenever you want. They take about 5 to 10 minutes, and it just gets a good idea of what you're interested in and what you want out of this mentorship experience so that we can go through the pairing process and intentionally pair you with a mentor that is going to suit what you're looking for in this program. And then after that, on October 24th, which is a Friday, you will receive a mentorship pairing notification via email. Our goal is to get every student who submits an interest form paired with a mentor. And so that is our priority as we're going through this process. And then on October 27th, on the Monday, we have a virtual orientation session from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. And that'll be like a fun kickoff event. Everyone will get the chance to get to know each other a little bit more. And you'll get a lot of advice and tips on taking your first steps with your mentor and just navigating that experience. And then you'll jump into the mentorship experience. If you decide to join this program, we have 6 mentorship meetings around an hour long, and those will be once a month. So it's really just 1 hour a month of dedicated time with your mentor. And the first meeting will be all about introductions and really laying out like what you want to accomplish with your mentor, what you want to discuss, and fill out a mentorship planning form to really get that in line and connect and figure out what your schedules could look like, and how those meetings could be. They can be virtual or in person. And then the next 4 meetings from December through March will just be accomplishing the objective that you set out to achieve together. And then lastly, you'll have your 6th meeting in April, and you'll be able to reflect on your experience together and discuss steps forward. If you want to continue to talk with each other, stay connected, or pursue other mentorship experiences through connections they have. It's a great way to have those conversations and figure out what could be next for you. So a little bit more about commitment and expectations for mentors. If you're available, we'd love for you to attend our virtual orientation session, get to know all of the cohort members of this academic year's program. But the really only requirement for mentors is these 6 mentorship meetings. So 6 hours throughout the academic year dedicated for your mentee. And you'll have optional opportunities to engage in in-person or virtual events around sustainability. We have a lot going on through the Business Sustainability Collaborative, as well as other programs on campus that you could get plugged into if you're interested. And expectations for mentors, just to share your knowledge and personal career experiences. And as the students are maybe bringing in discussions or questions, being able to offer constructive feedback and answer their questions throughout those times. And then for mentees, the commitment is hopefully you can attend the Monday virtual orientation session and get to connect with the cohort, and then obviously attend the 6 mentorship meetings. And then also put some time aside between each of those meetings, 1 to 2 hours, depending on what your goals are and what you're wanting to achieve. The experience really is what you make of it. If you want to put in 8 hours in between each of the meetings, you're more than welcome to do that. But it's up to you on how you want to spend the time. I will say the more time you pour into this, the more you will get out of it. But it's really up to you in terms of your commitment outside of those mentorship meetings. And expectations for mentees. Be respectful of your mentor's time. Make sure that you're responding promptly to emails and following up with them after meetings. Come prepared for each discussion, and take initiative when it comes to scheduling those meetings and setting your goals and trying to understand what you want to accomplish through your meetings with your mentor. Okay, so going into a little bit of the benefits of participating. For mentors, obviously you'll get a continued connection to sustainability at NC State, understanding what students are a part of, and maybe getting plugged into more sustainability events and opportunities at NC State as well. And also just getting a rewarding experience through sharing your knowledge and your experience with someone who really is interested in learning from you and wanting to grow in sustainability in some way and just general like personal and professional growth as well. And for mentees, building skills and connections, um, career guidance and insights from your mentor, as well as improved academic and career readiness, depending on how you want to go about with your objective. And then there is additional program supports provided as well through the mentorship toolkit, which I'll jump into later, and also optional progress check-ins. So we will have a Google form available if you need additional support, if you're struggling to figure out the next steps. If you need any guidance whatsoever, you can reach out to me or Caravi, and we can provide you that support and give you kind of the steps you need to keep things going and continue your experience. And then I also wanted to briefly highlight my experience with my mentor through the pilot program this past spring. I got to work with Johnny, who is an incredible asset management analyst at Sunrun, and he works in San Francisco, California. And Sunrun is a solar installation company that contracts out to residential areas. And I actually had started developing an internship with a different solar installation company. And I didn't really know anything about the solar industry. And I was a little nervous jumping into it because I I just wanted to make sure that I had a strong understanding of what I was getting into and could communicate well and understand what was going on in the work environment I was about to enter into for the summer. And he was so helpful in helping me figure out kind of what the solar industry is looking like and how that looks for him and his role. I learned a lot about his job and also just what like he did to kind of transition out of NC State and into the career field, what the hunting experience was like for him. And so we honed in on two mentorship objectives, sustainability learning and career path exploration. And those were extremely helpful. For me, I have a whole now plan for job hunting that I'm already starting to implement as I am approaching graduation next spring. And it's just been a really big weight off my chest. And I'm really grateful to him to help me through all of that process. And he had some really great answers to my questions. And so that was an experience I had that I wanted to share as well. And so jumping into the mentorship toolkit a little bit more. And so I mentioned that we have different mentorship objectives that you can choose from. If you've already filled out our interest form, you'll see, and you've already selected which objectives you're really interested in when it comes to what you want to get out of this experience. And so you'll see over here we have many different objectives you can choose from. And within our mentorship toolkit, we have options for meeting schedules. So if you're really like nervous about how to approach each of your meetings, especially the four meetings where you're really honing in on your objectives, we have sample schedules for every single objective that is pre-planned. And so you can go through, make a copy of that meeting schedule, and then kind of customize it off of there. So you're not just going off of nothing. You're able to really have that guidance and that structure, but also be able to cater it to your own goals and your own interests. So we wanted to provide a toolkit that allows you to not have to go in completely blinds to the experience. You know, you're really able to be like, okay, here's a starting point and here's where I can build off of. And this toolkit has many other resources in there for you as well, if you want additional guidance. And also like the mentorship planning form is included in there for your very first meeting so that you can really foster a guided and intentional conversation with your mentee or your mentor to make sure that you're on the right track for the rest of your academic year experience. All right, I'm gonna give it over to Caravi now.
Hi everyone. Oh, I'm back to talk about my experience last semester being mentored by Jen. So, Jen and I have very different academic backgrounds. I'm an environmental science and sociology major, and she actually studied textile management and got a master's in technical communications. But we were both interested in working on a project together, and that's how we were matched. At the time, I was developing my own personal website to try and help as I was looking at summer internships, and she was working on the development of a website that provided accurate and transparent sustainability reports of different companies. And so we ended up just really enjoying the work. We would meet weekly for about 30 to 45 minutes, which worked really well for our workflows. And I think this program, kind of like what Clara said, is really what you make of it. So figuring out what kind of workflow works best for you and your mentor and what's going to make sure that you get and your mentor gets what you're looking for out of it, or for the mentors, you and your mentee. Um, so we would meet weekly and we would discuss, my personal website, her work in sustainability, and, how she had navigated her career path since graduating from state, as well as the work that we started to collaborate on for green tech. And so at the end of my time, at the end of the spring semester, we actually ended up chatting a little bit further and realizing that the website development had been going really well, but it still wasn't fully complete. So I stayed on as an intern with her over the summer and then coming into fall as an independent contractor. And I really had no clue where this was going to lead me at the start of the mentorship program, but it was such a special experience to get to know Jen and to learn more about her work and develop my abilities in the technology and innovation side of sustainability, which I hadn't had much experience with beforehand. And so I think this program is just a strong example of how relationship building and continued learning can operate through a relationship and, with an alumni of the university community that you're already a part of. So just has been a super cool time. And again, I think my story is a strong example that the mentorship program is what you make of it.
Thank you, Kirby. Thank you for sharing that. So yeah, that's basically the overview of the mentorship program. But first, before we jump into a Q&A session, I wanted to invite you all to join the Sustainability Network at NC State LinkedIn group. If you haven't already joined, this is a LinkedIn group that was established last year, and we already have 87 members, and it's a mix of NC State alumni and students who are interested or pursuing careers in sustainability. So if you want to stay plugged in, you can stay connected on there. If you are interested in maybe one of the alumni on there being your mentor, that's a good way to explore different like profiles and just get to see the different people that are in the field that graduated from NC State. So yeah, really good opportunity just to stay connected and potentially connect with a mentor. We do have many of our past mentors on this network as well. So, um, and now we're going to jump into a Q&A session. Now, if you have no questions and you're interested in submitting a interest form, we have the student mentee and alumni mentor interest forms available in the QR code. So you can scan those and submit a form right now if you're interested. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes. And yeah, just the biggest tip for those forms is make sure that you're really sharing as much as you can about yourself, because the more you share about what you're interested in and what you want to get out of the experience, the easier it will be for us to match you with someone who can support that. Yeah, interest forms close October 19th. So now I'm going to open it up for any questions. You can drop them in the chat. If you think of anything and this meeting is over, you can also email me. My email is cmsteck@ncsu.edu, which I'll drop in the